want to do that. What is this? What is BS? Well, no, we got. The hell's that? We don't want to do that. That is ridiculous. No, my orientation is live. Yeah, did I flip the? So I'm live. Now I'm live in this orientation. Having flipped the. No. Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, absolutely. What? So take. Okay. Jonaside. Okay, can you hear me? So we're off to a banner start. I got friends, family. How you doing, kid? I love you. We're all medicated. We're all heavily dosed over here. And Jonaside in the live chat. Hope you had a great birthday, and the birthday celebrations continue. Today is going to be the actual party for those planning on sending SWAT. Um, the adversary is with us. Jonaside, Mario Heat. Sucks that not too long ago you were talking about how you were watching Josh Slow. Listen, I'll tell you something. So, a couple of things that I want to reflect upon and talk about as I appear to you in lovely portrait view. Coming live on the phone is great. Um, Hopefully, I didn't show trying to switch the orientation. I may have flipped the camera. Hopefully, I showed nothing but uh, lovely dirty carpet and didn't show uh, anything wild. We're here on. I believe I'm here on the main channel. We call the main channel the channel that started it all off. Even though I do believe that my King Cobra coverage primarily happened on I Am the One Who Works Here Now, and I did a couple of things on the Blueberry Wolf Bridge. Yeah, I know, right? It's not the kid was like, I'm gonna check this out. Dad's going live. And it was like, this is Dad live? This sucks. Is out of here. Come back. Yeah, there you go. Just enough to interrupt me, which is glorious. But I do want to say to people on the main channel, I'm not upset with you guys, but I do tell people constantly. Always, I see people that will when I do come back to the neglected CW Chanter channel. Oh, we missed you. Where you been? This is we were, and I say I didn't. I tell people all the time. There are these other channels. I've been on these other channels. If you don't see me here, I'm telling you, I'm on these other channels. It's the nature of YouTube, and it's like I don't blame people who don't get totally immersed in online BS and don't make it their life's mission to be professional YouTube observers and watchers. But it's the old story. Like, there are people that say, like, oh, I'm subscribed to those other channels. I never get the notifications. Look, YouTube is a monster. If you're subscribed, even with the bell notification on, but you don't watch the videos, it's going to stop recommending the videos to you. It's like you can't be spoiled. You have to live your life a little bit like the old school days of the old school internet. You have to manually check. If you truly think that you are a huge fan of my content and you want to know what's going on and you don't want it to be 6 months before you see my smiling face going off and rapping about whatever, whether you're a fan or whether you're a troll. You know what I mean? Whether you want to give me shit or whether you want to give me, praise, and whether you get something out of it or whether you get something out of it by waiting to see if I'm going to do some sort of freak out or embarrass myself. You know what I mean? If you want to be involved, you got to get involved. And I'm happening wherever I'm happening. And if you want to know, if you want to just buy the Aphex Twin major record release, then you're only going to get a certain percentage of Richard D. James's output. And if you know, you know. Mario Heat giving me the slam. I love it. Tim Prey. in the live chat as well. Off to the farmer's market, but I shall return your critique. Very well. So, look, for those who are familiar with all my material and watch a fair amount of the uploads on all the channels, you know that I've talked about King Cobra JFS, an individual who may have fairly been classified as what's known in internet parlance as a lolcow, an individual who makes content on the tubes, but whose large amassed following may not have been of comprised entirely of people who thought that he had the greatest takes on everything or were necessarily huge fans, but may have been people who thought he was, for want of a better term, and to simplify matters and not to speak ill of the dead, but just to have clarity of communication, a joke. Um, he's one of these people like Darkside Phil, like Wings of Redemption, like uh, Christina Weston Chandler, who had a veritable cottage industry spring up around them of people who probably made, if not their living, at least, some people made decent side hustles of editing down and covering and critiquing the massive amount of audiovisual content that this individual would upload. And the song remained the same. And there were different people who would follow, and different people had, depending on what time, how early in the arc that they came in. My understanding, I discovered King Cobra JFS in 2000 and I want to say 2018. Professor Cupcake, aka Nikki No. Welcome to the live chat. You honor us with your presence. Shout out to your channel. And shout out to all your great work, your ability and endurance to survive. My hat's off to you. Can you help me make it in the music industry? No, you cannot. For all your worth, I challenge you. No, I'm kidding. Um, but praise and hosannas unto you. Um, he, people would have different takes on it. Some people would be like, fellow alcoholics and addicts would be like, this poor guy, he just needs to hear the message. People would be like, don't try and stop us from trolling this guy. You have no idea what you're talking about. This guy is never going to get the message. You're enabling him. No, you're giving this guy too hard a time. Don't pay attention. You're making it worse. You guys are making it worse. No, you guys are making it worse. Who's donating to this guy? You're just keeping it going. Anybody who's donating to this guy thinking you're helping, you're hurting. You know what I mean? Why give this guy a hard time? All these debates. And looking back on my coverage, I could tell that, it's like my YouTube experience, and I made this a multi-part in my title. Look, because I know doing YouTube has been a learning experience for me. I started YouTube to celebrate my 40th birthday, which is 10 years ago. I turned 50 yesterday, the day that King Cobra, that Josh Saunders was found, passed away by his own father. And I am an alcoholic and an addict in recovery, in active recovery. It was frustrating to see Josh online. Part of what YouTube has been for me has been an absolute learning and growing experience, and a personal learning and growing experience. I learned more about myself on YouTube than I've learned about how to succeed as a YouTube content creator, because I learned what I'm not interested in, which is being a successful YouTube content creator. But I've learned a lot about myself, about how I interact with people, how I become personally invested in people that I don't know, and been able to reflect on why that is and how that comes to be. And so I concede that I've never met Josh, but over the years, finding him in 2019 or whatever, first educating myself, watching all the retrospective videos and such, and then becoming an active watcher on his ongoing output, making lame attempts at reaching out, making videos addressed to him. I know you're never going to see this, Josh, but in case you're curious, there is a solution. Moving on to, okay, Josh, I made the videos trying to reach out to you, talking about a solution. I don't know if you've ever seen those. You probably didn't, but I'm just at this point, I'm just frustrated. I'm just gonna tell you, you know what? You want to drink yourself to death? Go ahead. But by the way, you're never gonna get that crystal tower dream house made of bells, and here's why. Blah blah blah. Thank you for that belated birthday. Thank you for the shout outs, and thank you for the praise, Professor Cupcake. Really do appreciate it. Really truly appreciate it. But you learn and you reflect. But what I will say is, you and I've studied myself and tried to study what other people are interested in and why people are interested in things like spirituality, mysticism, synchronicities, and such. And I've learned that a lot of the things that we see, I see Professor Cupcake, get beautiful, beautiful. A lot of things that we see the synchronicities and we see the connections in the things that we look at. So watching King Cobra JFS, especially because there's that point of connection of knowing that I struggled, he's struggling, seeing him at that age, an age that I could see myself at because I was where he was at that stage. It's easy to feel empathy and sympathy, and it's easy to get involved. And quite frankly, there were points where, like, I had a relapse on Delta 8, and I had never heard about Delta 8. I heard about Delta 8 because he got Delta 8 in the mail. And I remember I was totally clean and sober, off cannabinoids, off of alcohol, and I was just watching a King Cobra JFS video because I was watching a King Cobra JFS video, and all of a sudden he was unpacking, he was opening up a mail bag, a mail care package they'd received from fans, and got a whole bunch of Delta 8 gummies, and I was like, "What the hell are those?" And he explained what they were, and I was like, "Those things exist?" And at like whatever o'clock in the morning, I was watching the video. I immediately looked up if they were available in the state where I domicile, and I was, oh shit, they are. And where are they available? Where I'm at? And the next day, went down to the local smoke shop. Was like, "You guys got this shit?" And they were like, "Fuck yeah, we got." I'm like, "Where?" And they were like, pointed right down at the little glass cabinet where it was like, whoop, you know, pre rolls, gummies. And I was like, "Oh, I'll take two of those, three of those, blah, blah." And I was off to the races. And that was another couple of months down the drain. Not his fault. Not my fault. It's just what happens. Relapses happen. So it becomes, but he became part of the story, part of my story. And it goes on like that. And so he's found passed away at 34. And I covered the past Ozzy, and we talked about him being the world's biggest Ozzy fan, even though he doesn't understand a lot of Ozzy's music or his life. It's just is what it is. He calls himself this goth guy. What is goth? What is not goth? And I gotta tell you, I had 1,003 fantasies, because even when we clean up, we still have these, eccentric brains. I'm gonna show up to Casper, Wyoming. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna show up. I'm just good guerrilla tactics it. Show up, and, hey man, I've got a cooler full of whatever, and you can have as much as you want. The only thing is, you get as much as you want as long as you let me stay here with you, talking to you about recovery. Just all these like crazy, you know what I mean? Like these silly, stupid ideas that, of course, I never do because thank God, whether I'm smart or whether I'm stupid or whether I don't follow through because whatever, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But so then is it coincidences? Is it synchronicity? Is it magic? It is what it is. And then remember, folks, I got massively trolled by bite-sized Cobra vids, which I don't regret and I don't mind at all. Right? I pulled the tarot card. What was it? I think it was the Prince of Swords right before bite-sized Cobra vids whipped out a video of King Cobra JFS's Prince of Swords, literally. And I have no regrets about it. I think I even let bite-sized Cobra vids on another stream after that too. Because I was like, if you get trolled by the best. I had no problem with it. My only regret was it turned out that, in my estimation, bite-sized Cobra vids wasn't like as. I feel like he could have intellectually trolled me better. Like I felt like he was like it could have been more. But whatever, you know what I mean? It's no real big deal. You know what I mean? Um, no one ever turns out to be who you expect them to be or who you necessarily want them to be. But not that what was the presentation? He could have been just being an aspect of himself. So I don't know who the guy is. You know what I mean? He could have brought Nutbag. Anyway, but I haven't seen any posts by Bite Size, but I have seen Boglin Chronicles. I have seen Seizure Robot. I've seen a whole bunch of people place statements, not make necessarily videos, but just text posts on YouTube. And they've all been, well, for the most part, they've been regrets and condolences, and he had a good heart, and we feel bad, and for as rough as we were on him, we always knew this, that. I'm summarizing, I'm paraphrasing, and there was only one guy that kind of came out and was like, "Yo, y'all a bunch of hypocrites. You're all a bunch of uh, morality flag waving, friendly local game stores." And you're all full of it. And that was this guy, Root Dr. Thorne, who I actually mentioned once in passing based on the fact that I thought he had hit on aspects of the nostalgia loop on the past. Because the point is everyone's connected. We think of things as everyone being like a cast of thousands out here. But if you think about the number of people you're subscribed to, if you're subscribed to 100 people, there were 100 people probably in your graduating class of like 8th grade or high school, even if you went to a really small school. And if you went to a big school, there were like 250, maybe 300 people in your high school, and you knew them by name. It's not that many people. So we have Golden Coin 100 with us as well. So whether it's hypocrisy or not, it is. So Root Dr. Thorne was the only person who came out and was like, basically, screw everyone. Y'all talk shit about this guy. I don't know why y'all flipping at the time of his passing and being like, yo, it's just my attitude about it is like it's normal for people to be like that because death changes the conversation. Jonas had 800 and I didn't know everyone, but they knew me. Yeah, Rockstar. But death changes the conversation because it's all fun. Number one, it's all fun and games till someone gets shot in the eye. Do you know what I mean? It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. We are joking around and we are having fun at the party until someone trips and falls, and then everyone's like, "Yo, yo, yo, no, stop fucking around. Like, let's get serious. We have to figure this out." So there's that, and there's also people will come out and know that, some that it's sad, that it is that it's different. Having said that, it is the case that a lot of these people were saying like really intense things about the guy when he was alive. It's like, I get it, and I think that their feelings are sincere. People, we talk about things like hypocrisy with human beings. We're like, this is hypocritical, this is hypocritical. People are hypocritical because you could look at that and say, like, oh, hypocritical, they're hypocritical, it's hypocrisy. But like, people are complex, and you could have like more than, one emotion and feelings about things at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have complex PTSD because my home life growing up was an absolute total shit show. You know what I mean? My father was an abusive person. He was like a sociopath. At the same time, like growing up and doing work on it, like there are things that I understand that my father was experiencing himself. He probably experienced, and were just things going on in his mind. Like he was just like, sick. Like there are things that I forgive. There are things that I'm at peace with. And there were other things that, like, I had happy memories of my father, too. There were times when we had healing. So it's not just one thing. It's not just like in the movies, the bad guy wears black, the good guy wears white, and the good Superman is the good guy, and Lex Luthor is the bad guy who always acts bad, and Superman has like maybe have some complex aspects of his personality, but he's generally 99.9% good. Those are the movies. Those are heroes, and those are stories. And the reality of the situation is people are people, and we're not like that. So you got to forgive people for appearing to be hypocritical and like talking completely differently about a person in death than they did when they were alive. Maybe. I mean, I'm not, who am I to say? But it is also true, maybe, that you have to be completely honest and understand that if you've made a cottage industry of being like collecting this person's absolute foibles and downfalls, and you said, like, some of these people, like, I can't speak for everyone, and if I speak in generalities about people who've talked about King Cobra JFS, you can't really do that because people have taken totally different approaches. But a lot of these people, to be completely honest, if you made the statements that you've made about this person or content you made about this person and he passes away, you got to be very careful with how you word your final goodbyes because, people can look at it and be like, you're totally full of shit. And the other thing is this, is that the other thing I want to say is this, is that a lot of people are just waking up to the fact that, yo, if you had a channel that you were banking on getting, and you knew that you got 1,000, 2,000 views on videos every time you were able to make a video due to the fact that King Cobra JFS made a video, and now King Cobra JFS is gone, there are people that whose regret and sadness might not just be, even though they may not be aware of it themselves, may not just be because King Cobra JFS is gone, but because their whole experience and activity of why riding their own success. They have a community built up where they ragged on Josh, the community ragged on Josh with them, and they were building up their own thing, and now that whole activity is gone. Lol cows don't get printed every day. Do you know what I mean? Like Nickelback at one point were the biggest rock band in the world, not because they were as good as the Rolling Stones or as good as Led Zeppelin or as good as the Beatles, but simply because after decades and decades of rock music being rock music, they were just currently the biggest rock band in the world, right? Now, currently, as we speak in 2025, there is I guess, a band that would qualify as the biggest rock band in the world. I have no idea who they are because, as far as I know, like basically people have kind of conceded that rock music is dead. Like as far as like a mainstream concern, I don't like listen to like I don't. Is there like a top 40 radio? Does that still exist? I have no idea because the industry is just like totally, absolutely changed in the way things work. But in the same way, like when we think of the lol cows, like Dark Side Phil, Wings of Redemption, Christina Weston Chandler, the late great King Cobra JFS. These people were products of King Cobra JFS have been making videos. My understanding is since 2008. That's going back 17 years, right? The same thing with CWC. Like Sonichu, that whole Sonichu thing, like that's going back. Like these things started off because there was a community, a group of like they were able to marinate, and the community, the non-fan community around them was able to grow up around them. People are constantly trying to mint new lol cows. The latest, oh, you got to hear about the latest, biggest degenerate on TikTok. You got to hear about the biggest degenerate on this thing or this platform is this guy. And I never see it take hold. And people pass all the time. Like in the TTRPG community, there was a guy, Bud's RPG reviews. Last upload was 2 months ago. Then there was a post on RPG Net forum saying, "Hey guys, sorry to tell you, he passed away." We just had the guy who just didn't get kicked out of, voluntarily left. What was that band? I hate them. Mastodon. Dead at 51. I just talked about Shoner passing away last year at 61. And here we have this young buck dying at 34. And found on my birthday. And I know that I covered every birthday that Josh has had. And I know it talked about how long he would last. And I know I said, ironically, I was like, these people will last forever. Like, you think Dark Side Phil is going to stop? You think this people might start stopping? Guess faceless strangers need more constructive things to do than torment neurodivergent people on the internet. Yeah, well, you know what I mean? We're all neurodivergent in our own ways. Brett Hines motorcycle accident. I agree, Mastodon is overrated, but still sad. Yeah, but when a guy leaves Mastodon under those circumstances and then passes away in a motorcycle accident, could it be? Could it be coincidence? Could it be? Absolutely, it could be. But could they be kind of causally connected? Golden Coin 100 says internet is a fading trend. I do believe that is the case. Here's my hot take, and then I'm going to let's see what I could do here. If I could, oh no. Can you still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? I need a confirmation you guys can still hear me. Come on, you guys are talking. Give me a confirmation you guys can still hear me. Yes. Okay. So then I could do this mobile. Well, I look for a tissue. Blah. We're in the money. I'm wandering around. It's like an IRL stream. Oh my God. We got Bernardi joining us. Remember, folks, you too can die coincidentally on my birthday. Anyway. Oh God. And I'm back. Okay, so look. Oh shit, I was gonna get tarot cards. Hold on. Because we need tarot cards. Lord knows we need tarot cards. I got ones right here. Boo boo boo. Now I'm not familiar with this set, so we'll see if this is any good or anything. But we'll hope for the best. Okay. These are the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot cards. I got these for the old lady. I gotta wait for you, David. Do 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 do. Oh man, but you know when I heard that King Cobra passed away, the guy was sad, and then to see Clint's video of it, talking about it, was sad too. And then he was like, "I'm gonna delete all the social media because fuck you," and then I'm not because the kid wouldn't want it, and I was like, you know what I mean? You just feel it. It's like, ah. And people are like, anyone who's going to speculate on, but this is the thing, you put your life out there, and then people are just going to, speculate to beat the band. So it's like Clint can't help it that people are going to be like, you're an enabler, you're this, you're that. There are very few people who are qualified to talk about the relationship between Clint and Josh. And anyone who's really qualified would probably say the following. I am qualified for the following reasons to talk about Clint and Josh's relationship. But part of that means that I would love to have had the opportunity to sit down with Clint and Josh. I would do so voluntarily for free on the internet in private session. We would need to meet for about 3 times a week for about 6 months. We're definitely going to need to separate these two after that initial phase to work on whatever codependent relationships we've identified and co-triggers and you know what I mean, like maladaptive behaviors, and maybe then we would have a shot at keeping both these people sober off of alcohol and intoxicants on the one hand and codependent situations on the other. We've got the 8 of Presents for our card. 8 of Presents. Now, of course, it's a wackadoo deck, so we got to figure out what presents are. But it's the 8, so we know it's going to be that. For me, the 8s are always the eternal energy of the suit, right? It's like the ace of the suit, but in a much more intensive way, almost like the inescapable energy of the suit. So we got to figure out what the presents are, what they're calling, what that suit is in this deck. It's either going to correspond to, cups or wands or something. Do. Suit of Presents. Okay, here we go. 72. Let's see how good they are with it. I apologize for the dead air and the moving around, but this is life in situ. And whatever you're having to deal with, at least you're not dealing with fatality. I guess we'll just read potions. It's like, we get it. You got to be cute. Everyone's got to be cute with their little set, but it's like, just come on now. Can we just keep it? Here's 8 of Presents. Oh, so these have got to be coins, because upright is the 8 of Presents, represents the act of working hard to learn new skills. Like a Christmas elf building toys for Santa Claus, you'll perfect your craft through careful repetition and attention to detail. Tasks will get easier for you the more often you practice. Keep going. So that's like us. Like on our 50th birthday, we keep going. I'm reflecting that I did, been doing YouTube for 10 years. Learned a lot, learned more about myself than I did about anything like being a success at YouTube. Reevaluated, no longer here trying to be a success at YouTube. Reversed. Attention to detail is great until it turns into shrewd perfectionism. Step back and try not to focus so much on the minutia. Make sure the big picture is on track before getting lost in the details. And you got to work, you know what I mean? And so it is what it is. So I note the passing of King Cobra JFS. I note that my mind looks to synchronicities. Another part of me, ah, the step house once is late to the gathering, but belated happy returns of the day to my old chanting friend. And there you go. Absolutely. Remember, I've got multiple channels. Seek them out, and you will see more of your friend. The more you desire to see of your friend. Just a recommendation, not a demand. It is what it is. Just trying to help out those who desire to see more of me, if that is your desire. King Cobra JFS passed, leaving plenty of archival footage to be looked over. Interesting to know, to think about why people watch the videos that they do. There are plenty of King Cobra JFSs in the world. Every town probably has one. So why don't people spend time watching the random King Cobra JFS present in their town? Why did King Cobra JFS become the King Cobra JFS and all the other random lonely heart losers drinking themselves to oblivion, saying profoundly unprofound things, go unobserved? I speculate, though I don't know, that it has to do with the community of co-watchers around them. The pearl, I guess, is created by the oyster from an individual grain of sand. But not every individual grain of sand has the fate of becoming a pearl. Not that one needs to say that the fate of being a grain of sand is better or worse than the fate of becoming a pearl. We see Sid Vitch in the live chat. Welcome there, Sid Vitch. I suppose when we take a step back, breathe, and observe, we see that in the world, in the virtual world, in the real world, there are things to observe. And there are things to observe and get worked up about, or to act as though one is worked up about, or that one may simply observe what is going on and say, this is the case. Even though you will note that one, or you may note that one comes to the space of observing and simply observing that what I see before me is the case, and there's no need to get worked up about it or to act worked up about it. One may inevitably discover that one does not have much YouTube content to create, much online content to create, or the online content that they create may be may not perform that well in the algorithms. What are you going to do? I suppose it's would all turn on what your agenda and desires were. So many people will make videos about King Cobra JFS's passing, Josh Saunders passing. Some will look at those content, that video, those statements, and say, this is grifting. This is getting views off of tragedy. And some will say other things. It's all just observable phenomena. I personally wanted to make a video. I started my channel in celebration of my 40th birthday. At the 10-year mark, around my 50th, it seemed to make sense to come and mark the occasion. King Cobra JFS's passing seemed only to add energetic emphasis to that desire to note and have video testimonial, video potlatch occur. We talked about the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. We talked about what the passing of Ozzy Osbourne would mean for Josh. Josh passed the same year as Ozzy. On my actual 50th birthday. Josh passed at the age of 34. If you add 3 and 4 together, you get 7. I was born in 1975. And it's my 50th birthday. He passed on. 7 and a 5. If you look for coincidences, if you look for numerological synchronicities, you will find them. And I'm very familiar with the work of Michael Shermer and other professional skeptics and debunkers, so I know about man as a pattern-seeking animal. And so I'm aware of this. And still I see certain patterns, and I'm aware of the fact that my mind is looking for patterns. We seek connections. We find connections. And if we discover through our journeys into self that those desires for connection are rooted in childhood trauma or natural neurological and physiological urges of a sentient biological organism on planet Earth, all of those explanations are still explanations of the reality, the lived reality that we're already aware of. Am I a sad sack human being for wanting to be connected to other people? Am I less of a tough guy? I try to be just self-aware, a little bit more self-aware every day, and be aware of the fact that my mind seeks connection, so be aware of that. So be aware of the fact that I can read into things as far as my relationships with near strangers are concerned, that I don't know people maybe as much as I think I know them, that part of what I think I know about people might be based on my built-up mental fantasies about them, that I've never met Josh. I don't really know who he is. I haven't met this person. I don't really know who they are. And all I can really know is that maybe, just maybe, these pontifications upon the internet have more value than more value in the sense that they're of service to people who can hear them and maybe get something out of them, either because they can relate to what I say and then therefore feel some sort of empathy, feel some sort of connection and feel some goodness out of that, or maybe get some insight into things. and that is greater than the potential harm by via self revelation or making a total fool of myself. Jonaside. Wait, you have fantasies about me? More like game plans to take you out of the picture so I can get with your old lady. I wouldn't qualify them as fantasies. More of master plans. Don't worry, she's in on it. Now, for dinner tonight, it's very important that you drink the whole beverage with the meal. Okay? And she's going to present you with some documents. Just go ahead and sign. Don't worry about reading them. Mario Heat, when are we doing ChanterCon? As soon as the life insurance payments come through on Jonaside. Kidding. Illuminati rules. We got to tell you exactly what we're doing. We'll be working on ChanterCon. And the guests of honor, King Cobra JFS. Too soon? Listen, I can be your lawyer in Minecraft. Listen, folks, King Cobra JFS, RIP. Rest in peace. Hey, my biggest deal is this. I hate to make it selfish. We say hello to Key Gaming too. We see you, baby. Really is the loss of content. I used to watch that guy. Ivan Teller for me has fallen off. A lot of it's based on I'm getting just bored of it, and the honestly, the ability for me to understand Ivan Teller has really kind of fallen off. I don't want to get into another rant. So as far as like long form video content that I would just put on the background and just like feel as though there's another stranger in the room that I'm hanging out with, like talk about parasocial relationships. Yeah, I might have to go back to start and watch those dank David Wilcock 5-hour streams. Luckily, I haven't been watching him for like over 6 months, so I've got like a backlog of David Wilcock to watch if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Um, it's just not the same though. But King Cobra for a while, you know what I mean? Like he definitely fell off as far as his uploads, but as far as his live streams were concerned. But the notion that we're not going to have that, and it's true. Do you know what I mean? And we joke about it, but like, folks, let's be completely honest. Dark Side Phil, eventually, Dark Side Phil, like, if the guy can't pay his bills, eventually there's going to be a breaking point at which, the guy will have to get a job, technically, or, hit some sort of, beached whale status. Who knows? Who knows? People exist for a long time in these, nether dimensions. And also remember, if Darkside Phil's parents pass away and they have a paid for house and they sell that house, he's bought himself another significant amount of time. I don't know the guy's financials, but this goes to show you. But remember, folks, side hustles are side hustles, but people could say whatever they want to about, oh, I got a full-time job, I got this, I got that, I got the other thing. There are certain people out here that say what you want. Video editing is video editing. There's no way in heck that certain people out here who are acting like, yo, this is just a side thing, aren't putting hours and hours and hours into their lol-cow video content production. And are there people out there with the executive functioning skills of mathematical, high tech super baby wizards? Hell yeah, there are. And are a lot of these people doing this as their absolute full time gig? 100%. And I don't know. YouTube changes. One last thing, because it was coming up there, the internet. Folks, for a long time, it was the internet, 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 internet. It's the economy of the future, whatever. I think that people are learning finally, whether it's late stage capitalism, whether it's this, that, or the other thing, this notion of giving everything away for free in the hopes on the internet, in the hopes that enough people are going to buy the Patreon, the YouTube membership, the subscription, the come out to see the live streams, come out to see the recording in person, come out to see the gig. It just, I don't think it's panning out. And I think the wave of the future is people leaving the internet. I think the wave of the future is going to be people leaving the internet. But that's just me. And Lord knows, like a lot of other people, I have hot takes, I have takes. And if we were to go back and algorithmically use the AI intelligence computer to go through all my content, identify everything that's a prediction about what's going to happen in the future, I don't know what my probability rate would be. My probability versus failed curve would be, whether it be 50-50, greater than David Wilcock, worse than Cliff High, whatever. I have no idea whether I'd fare better or worse than anybody else. I have a feeling I'd fare better, but that's just a feeling. And feelings aren't facts. So until next time, what can you know? Sincerely in my heart, I believe the following. I'm not BSing when I say, if I talk to y'all one on one, a lot of y'all would annoy the shit out of me. But my personal feeling is this, is that I love you. As I hope you love me, because at the end of the day, when I think about what I really know, I know y'all are people. Human beings who the reality is your thoughts and your ideas and the things that you do are explicable and explainable. Understandable. And there's very little value in thinking about evil people. And there's much more value in understanding that we're all out here like puzzles waiting to be solved. But we're all trying to be solved by unsolved puzzles. So it's going to be a lot of hard work trying to figure it all out. Musings of a Madman. On the day after on his 50th birthday, preparing for celebrations, having learned about the passing of King Cobra JFS, not taking it as a point of pride, not taking it as a claim of responsibility, but taking it as a moment of synchronicity to reflect upon. There, but for the grace of some things, call it a higher power, call it willpower, call it something, call it the ability to learn lessons, go I, called by grace of people loving me and caring enough about me to steer me in the right directions. God, I'm not dead today, but somebody is at far too young an age. God bless you. God bless you. Satan bless you. King Cobra JFS. Peace and hosannas and coverage and a circle of protection upon Cliff and the rest of the Saunders clan. Hey. Oh, also, blessings from Odin. You know what I mean? Okay, come on. Well, that's your job, Genocide. I don't want to step on another man's one-eyed wizard witch. Everyone gets blessings. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Listen. What will become of the Cobra Angels and the Cobra Cult? Pour one out at Frosty's. I suppose for Halloween we'll all dress as the Ghetto Green Goblin in honor. Or we should. Anyway, 13 live viewers coming up on the magic hour. I bid adieu. I love you. King Cobra JFS, rest in peace. Endless fantasies I had of showing up at the man's door. Cheggs Chambers says, we all cook our own lives, but the environment has effect on results too. Absolutely. Go in peace. Go with well wishes. Until next time, wherever you find me, wherever I find you, may we give ourselves a little understanding before we dig in with the knives of criticism and critique. And away we go. Bite-sized Cobra Vids, RIP. There you go. Bite-sized Cobra Vids. I gave you a shout out. I said, you trolled me, but I was trolled by the best. Never held it against you. Never will. Never will. No hard feelings. No hard feelings ever. It was thanks to you that I now have my own personal copy of Josh Saunders waxing the pole. Right? Now, if you would only be so kind of send me a video of you and Nutmeg, then it would be a party. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And we ended on a troll shout out. Folks, I love you. Until next time, may there be a next time. We'll see you around the You Have Too Many Ex-Wives. I've got one ex-wife. I guess that's one too many. She can come along. I don't think I convince her, though. Anyway, I'm going to get out here before bite-sized Cobra Vids bites me again in the booty. They're going to have time on this. Well, no, because they've got hours and hours of content still to go. You know what I mean? But I'd like to announce my full-time retirement from the internet. Kidding. I'll never learn my lesson. I love you. I love you all, especially bite-sized Cobra Vids. Much better than any of those other Brand X King Cobra JFS channels. We only respect OGs around here. And on that note, I am out. Okay? How do I end this thing? Do I do it like this? That's how I start a poll. Do I do it like this?